All right, I am here tonight to talk about, continue the chat about my 12-day sailing. Tonight I'm going to talk about the 5 ports that we visit during our 12-day sailing. Okay, give me just a moment. Just trying to get started on another platform as well. Okay, so I am live tonight, here to continue the chat about the 12-day cruise that I just returned from on Princess Cruises, Regal Princess Cruise. We did a 12-day sailing. 2 of my cousins went with me. We visited 5 ports. The 5 ports that we visit were Cozumel, Antigua, Aruba, Curacao, and the British Virgin Islands. We didn't do much of activities in Curacao, nor did we hardly do anything in the Virgin British Islands. Did get a chance to do a little something in Antigua, as they say. The locals call it Antigua. So I'll start off with Cozumel. For Cozumel, we decided to, my plans were to go to the beach club. I figure it's a great way to spend the day in Cozumel, Mexico. We have been there before on a family cruise a few years back ago. And then I went again with my daughter on a cruise on Margaritaville, the Islander cruise. And we did ATV excursion while we were there. We didn't do a beach club. I wanted to do Mr. Sancho's while I was there with my daughter, but they're closed on Sundays. So if you're ever sailing there on a Sunday, keep in mind that Mr. Sancho's is closed on Sundays. So we did Mr. Sancho's on this 12-day sailing when we went to Cozumel. First, we walked around the port a little bit. My recommendations is when you're cruising, if you're going to do any excursions or activities, you should do those before exploring the port and shopping and all of that stuff. You should leave, whatever excursion you choose, make sure you have enough time on the way back. Then you can kind of browse around the port and get all your shopping in and then head back to the ship. That way you can go off and do your activity and enjoy the time on your activity. Then you come back and you do your shopping. So we did browse the port first, just a little bit, and then we left, took a taxi to go to Mr. Sancho's and spend the day there and had a beach day there. Also at Mr. Sancho's, you can do some shopping while you're there as well. It is a nice beach resort. The food is included there. The drinks are included. If when you go there, you're going to do the day pass there, which doesn't cost a whole lot. We only paid like $68 per person for Mr. Sancho's. That was their first time there as well. You can purchase the tickets online prior to going. You don't have to. You can actually purchase them on site once you get there. There's no limit on day passes. Even if they get crowded, there's no limit on the day passes for Mr. Sancho's. So we purchased our tickets while we were there because like I said, we were uncertain if we weren't going to go there or not. Who is a fan? I'm not sure. Sorry. I was trying to read your comments. We are the only people in this. Yeah. Oh. Hello, and how is everyone doing in the chat? I'm sorry, I'm just now getting over to this one to read them. I'm on 2 different platforms right now. Hello, Michelle Fox, and hello to somebody, Jack. Thank you for joining in. And I'm talking about my 12-day sailing on Princess Cruises. I sailed on Regal Princess for 12 days. Took 2 family members with me. And I'm continuing the chat from our cruise, talking about the ports that we did get a chance to visit while on that sailing. We visit 5 different ports, which was Cozumel, Antigua, Curacao, Aruba, and the British Virgin Islands. Glad to know that you're doing well. And thank you for the hearts. How are you doing as well? Is it Kaya? Forgive me if I'm saying it wrong. But thank you for joining in. This is actually my first time live on the YouTube. I normally go live on a different platform. So I decided to come on the YouTube and share a little bit about my travel experience from my 12-day sailing. It was actually my first time going on a 12-day sailing on any cruise. So I think the longest I sailed on a cruise ship was about 6 days. So this was my first longest sailing ever. So like I was saying, our first stop was Cozumel. We did a beach day at Mr. Sancho's. It's an okay beach resort to check out if you ever sailing to Cozumel. The taxi ride there is not expensive at all. It's about it's a $20 taxi ride there and back. If you have anyone traveling with wheelchairs or scooters, there is an extra charge to transport those from the port. But other than that, the taxi rides from Cozumel Port are pretty reasonable. Even if you wanted to just go to the downtown area of Cozumel instead of going to like a beach resort or anything like that, I believe that the taxi ride is about $10 to go downtown. Okay, King Case. Okay, sorry about that. King Case is your name. Okay. Well, thank you for joining in. So we did a beach day there. We did kayaking while we were there at Mr. Sancho's. Like I said, all the food is included. They have burgers, they have fries, they have fajitas, they have nachos, they have pizza, they have wings, and a few other items on their buffet while you're there to enjoy, and unlimited drinks because they're all included in your day pass. They have different excursions there that is an extra charge from the, they have ATVs there. They have the ATV excursion, but you will have to book that prior to going. They have jet skis. You can actually pay for those on site. You don't have to pre-book those. You could do snorkeling while you're there. You could do horseback riding. That is something else that you would have to book in advance as well before going there. You can also get massages while you're there. They have the fish pedicure that they do there. That's an extra charge, the massage. The fish pedicure. They have a nail spa. All of that is an additional charge if you choose to do any of those things while you are there. So the next port we went to was Aruba. In Aruba, we walked around the shopping area. There's plenty of shopping in Aruba. We caught a taxi to a restaurant which was called the Flying Fishbone. This restaurant was a little different. It's out. You can actually put your feet in the water. It's an open door restaurant, well, open air or whatever you would call it, restaurant for you to go and sit at and enjoy and look out at the ocean, and the water comes up to your feet while you're dining. It is a seafood restaurant, which is on the north end of the island. Doesn't really take long to get there, and that is something else that you could catch a taxi to get to. We didn't catch a taxi from the port because the taxis at the port was a little more. We actually walked down closer to the Renaissance Hotel and took a taxi from there, and it was a little bit less if you take your taxis from the Renaissance Hotel. And there are other things to do there in Aruba. You can do excursions through the ship, depending on which ship you're sailing on. You can choose to do excursions through the ship. We decided not to. I pretty much planned out what we were going to do for that day. We also went by the aloe vera shop, the actual farm, the aloe vera farm, and they give you a tour of that and everything and put on this presentation for you as well. So that was something different for us to do while we were there. So like I said, there are a lot of other things to do in Aruba. The beaches are very beautiful. Been to Aruba before. I actually spent a week there, so I really got to enjoy it when I went the first time and got to visit a lot of the different beaches there. So if you ever cruise there or if you're flying there, there are a lot of great beaches that you could go to in Aruba. Eagle Beach is one of them. Beautiful. Aruba is beautiful. And it's pretty much, it's laid back. I wouldn't say it's like a lot of partying going on for you, but they do have like the party bus if you're doing an overnight stay in Aruba. If you're vacationing there, going to stay at a resort or Airbnb or whatever there. I would say if you like to party, try the party bus. Go to the downtown area. But if you are sailing there, depending on the amount of time that you have, if you're trying to see a little bit of everything, I would just go with an excursion through the ship. And like I said, I kind of just planned out how we were going to spend our day because the travelers that I was with, I knew they loved to shop. So we just went on over to the shopping area, and then we went, I made reservations at the Flying Fishbone for us to dine. And after that, we end our day. After the restaurant, that was it for us. We end our day, and we went back to the ship. Where is it? I might go there. If you're talking about the Flying Fishbone, that's in Aruba. It's a nice restaurant. And I did a live while I was there so people could kind of see the inside and, what it looks like there. And I believe I did record some of the food. The food was delicious. It is a seafood restaurant. Like I said, while you're dining there, you get to, put your feet in the water. The water comes up to your table from the ocean, and you get a great view of the ocean. I would say the pricing for the food is not, I wouldn't say really expensive, but the prices are, it's a little pricey. I had like this pasta meal. I think my total of my meal probably came up to about $40, I believe. I would have to go back and look. But it was about $40 with my meal and my drink, I believe. I have to go back and look, but it is something different. It just says, the title for that video, it says Aruba Flying Fishbone Restaurant. I believe that's the title. Because I think I only have like 2 lives there under my video. So if you see it, should say Aruba Flying Fishbone Restaurant. And like I said, it was a live. I didn't do a pre-recording for it. I just did a live while I was there. But it's something different, unique and different to experience. And like I said, Aruba is beautiful. And they have so much to see in Aruba. It's so much to see in Aruba. I enjoyed my time in Aruba. When I visited Aruba, I stayed at Rio. So I stayed there for a week, which was not bad. It's an all-inclusive resort, and it's right on the beach. So I had an ocean view room. So Aruba is beautiful. The food in Aruba is delicious. So if you ever get a chance, vacation in Aruba or cruise there. Either or, you will have a great time. And like I said, it's a lot of beautiful beaches there. The other port that we went to was Curacao. So we went to Curacao. We basically just walked the port there. Again, the travelers that I was with, they love to shop, so they did some shopping. We walked to the town area as well. We did get to dine at one of the restaurants there, a local cafe there that we dined at. It was like right in the middle of the town area, across from the Curacao sign that everyone takes a picture by. The food was okay. I didn't get to try any of their culture food while I was there. I do plan to go back there because there are other things that I would love to have gotten to do while I was there. I didn't get to go to the beach while I was in Curacao. And they do have, again, that's another destination that does have beautiful beaches. And I also want to go see the sea turtles and the flamingos while I was there, but I didn't get to do any of that. There's a lot to see in Curacao. Again, that is another one of those destinations that, for me, I think I would have to fly to and actually spend a couple of days there to really enjoy it. But, you know, cruising there, the thing about cruising, you get to experience a little bit of it. And if you like, you know, what you see, you can always decide to go back. You could always go and fly back and spend some time vacationing there. But whenever you're cruising, you don't have to just stop at the port. You know, you can book an excursion, like I said, through the cruise line. Or if you're an experienced traveler, you could book an excursion through a different vendor besides the cruise line. Or you can book an excursion once you arrive at the port, because there are vendors, there are tour guides there at the port, you know, waiting for people to actually, you know, book something with them to go out and explore. And it's good to go out and explore, especially if that's an island that you've never been to and you never seen. I mean, like, how often are you going to get to go back there and see that? So you want to go out and you want to explore and experience, you know, see what you have not seen. That's my thing. So, you know, you travel that far, you want to go out and see what you have not seen. And there's so much to see and so much beauty in all these different islands. And Curacao is one of those islands that do have some history there. I actually wanted to visit the museum there, but I didn't get to do that. Another destination that we stopped at was, I said Aruba, Curacao, Cozumel. Okay, so another one was Antigua. We stopped at Antigua. So in Antigua, I just went to the beach. There's a popular beach there called Dickinson Beach. I took a taxi from the port over to the beach there. It's a beautiful beach, a popular beach in Antigua. There's a couple of resorts in that area where the beach is located. There is a restaurant there that serves different dishes. They also serve seafood as well. In the sand, the beach is beautiful in Antigua. That nice soft sand, that pretty clear blue aqua water. Antigua is very beautiful. That is another one of those islands that you would love to go back to and vacation for a couple of days. The beach that I went to, Dickinson Bay Beach, next, right there before you enter into the beach, there's a sandals property there as well. Something to keep in mind if you ever think about going to Antigua and vacation. There is a sandals there and a few other resorts in the area as well. Like I said, we did the port there. We just basically explored the port, left from there and went to the beach. It did rain a little, so we did leave the beach and then return back to the port, and then, you know, walked around the port just a little bit and then back to the ship. The people are very friendly there in Antigua. The taxi rides do not cost that much. I think our taxi ride there round trip was $20, I believe. I think it was $20 or $30. Only two of us actually went to the beach in Antigua. The other travelers stayed at the port. So I think it was about $30 round trip, which was not bad at all. The last port we went to was the British Virgin Islands, which is another beautiful island to visit. And again, that's another one that you may want to fly to and vacation there, or you could just cruise there. As far as I could see during my time there, is basically to visit the beach. We did not go to the beach because it was raining there quite a bit. So we spent most of our time just around the port. We were going to walk off to the town area, but because it started pouring and raining, we just turned back around and went back to the port. They do offer, if you wanted to if you wanted to pay for an excursion on site, there were other, vendors there that were, offering different excursions to do. One in particular that would take you around the island just a little bit was a $25 excursion. I think it was like 2 hours for $25, which was not bad to do a little sightseeing. Or you could just book your excursions through the ship, through the cruise line, like I said. The food there is delicious. I did get to try the conch fritters while I was there in the British Virgin Islands. And they had other different dishes you could choose from. At this one stop that I stopped at, I can't remember the name right off the top of my head right now. But at the port, they had like different little food trucks set up. I guess you could call them little food trucks. They were like little food stands all around the port. And you could just, go pick and choose, different dishes you may want to eat. Variety of Caribbean food there. And there was entertainment there at the port as well. But one thing I will mention, if you're traveling with people who are traveling with wheelchairs or scooters, and they're mobile, the people are mobile, you can leave your scooter or wheelchair there to hop on one of the taxis to do an excursion, because they don't really have a place to put them on the vehicles. They do have some vans, but these particular vendors that were doing the excursions had like these open air Jeeps with several rows, and the seating was pretty tight, but they do allow you to leave your chair behind, and somebody is there to watch it, and you can hop on and, just go on that little sightseeing tour for about 2 hours and come back, and your chair will still be there when you get back. So you can trust that when you're in the British Virgin Islands. And like I said, it's only $25 for that sightseeing tour, which is not bad at all. Just checking on different platforms to see if anybody leaving me any comments. Okay. So, yep, that's what we did. We visited 5 ports on that 12-day sailing. We didn't book any excursions through the cruise line. I basically just planned out what we were going to do prior to us getting there, and some of it we just played it by ear, which was not a bad trip. I was basically on this sailing to just experience that cruise line. That was my first time sailing on Princess, so I just wanted to get a feel for it and see how things were on Princess Cruise, on that cruise line for the first time. And those were some really great ports that we visit. To be able to do all 5 of those different ports in one trip is really great. And like I said, that's a great way. Cruising is a great way to see different islands in one trip. So I will be back to discuss other things more about Princess Cruises, but tonight I just want to talk about the different ports that we visit. You can feel free to leave me a comment if you have any questions as far as concerning Princess Cruises or anything. You can leave me a comment and I will respond, and I'll be back again from this about my 12-day sailing on Regal Princess. Thank you for joining in tonight.